Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Emma. Today we are going to look at 10 mistakes that property buyers normally make in property transactions. 10 mistakes. However, we'll limit this session to just 3 mistakes that they make in purchasing property. These mistakes are very critical and could make or mar any property transaction, eventually leading to the buyer losing his or her fortune, and of course needs to be avoided. So the first mistake is not engaging professionals when purchasing a property. It is actually very disheartening that individuals who would have mustered so much resources over time to purchase an asset or a landed property or a building or what have you, not engaging the requisite professional to do the necessary findings, background checks, and even sourcing for the property. Not engaging professionals can be very detrimental to the success of that transaction or eventual loss of that transaction, in the sense that, in the absence of a professional, the judgment that any buyer takes may be clouded by sentiment, it may be clouded by fraudsters who would take advantage of his non-utilization of professionals in that transaction. Professionals have been trained over the years to determine, of course, the title of that property, the habitable nature of that property, the price of the property, and every other thing surrounding it. It is just beyond the exchange of money or the identity of the owner of the property. It is always very critical to engage a professional, whether it's going to be lawyers, realtors, surveyors, and even engineers who would come into a certain whether or not the property is fit and if it could stand the test of time. This common mistake is capable of ruining a person's entire fortune if not corrected. The second mistakes that are common to buyers is their inability to identify the owner of the transaction, the owner of the property. Immediately, it can be established that the person who sold the property did not have the requisite power to sell. That property or that transaction is as good as an invalid transaction and could be set aside if it is taken to court, because there is a maxim that says, "Nemo dat quod non habet." You cannot give what you do not have. So if you purchase a property from an individual who had no power ab initio to sell the property, then that transaction could stand unenforceable in court, and you could stand the risk of losing your money and losing the property, and of course a dent on the reputation, even on the buyer, because it would have been expected that the buyer would have done his or her due diligence in identifying who is actually the owner of the property. You must always take cognizance of the fact that a property would definitely have an owner. It could be a company, it could be an individual, it could be a government agency. The initial owner may have been deceased. You must then take steps to ensure that the proper thing is done in law that would have transferred ownership to the legal representative. Could be the son, could be the daughter, could be the wife. Either through a will or a deed of gift. Could have also been a family property. So your ability to know on whose desk or on whose authority that property is sold is very, very germane. So please do not make the mistake of buying a property without identifying the valid owner or the authentic owner of the property. And then the common third mistake that property buyers make is not ascertaining the title of the property or not properly identifying or verifying the title of the property in question. Some persons may end up in just making a search at the land registry and not necessarily checking it up in court. Some may check it up in court but have not done the search at the Surveyor General's office. Some may have done the search at the Surveyor General's office but may not take the extra step to check it at the land registry. Your failure to properly verify title to any property will definitely mar the transaction if it has been tainted with misrepresentation, fraud, or if the property had been encumbered and the lack of your or the inability to verify the title upon being discovered will definitely mar that transaction. Like I said, there are 10 basic mistakes that can even be subdivided or further expanded. But today we are just going to concentrate on the three which I've mentioned, which is your failure to engage professionals, your inability to identify the actual owner of the property, and then failure to properly verify the title to the property. The third mistake is very, very key and it's very important, talking about the title to the property. Because of time, we will take our time next series to discuss title to property. So please stick to this channel while you learn more on the 10 mistakes that property buyers make, as well as every other issues around property and law in general. Thank you.